So yesterday was Black Friday and the holiday season is officially upon us. And the challenges of this season is that we tend to eat too much, stay out too late, we don't sleep enough, we overstep our boundaries with just doing things for other people that we really don't feel like doing, and having these kind of unspoken agreements that we tend to follow just because it's the social norm, and that's what we've been doing year after year, decade after decade. So by the time that January 1st rolls around, we're so overfed, undernourished, depleted, our bank accounts are empty, that we can't wait to just start the year fresh and wipe the slate clean. So I invite you instead to step back before you dive into this holiday season and take a moment to re-examine the way that you've been celebrating in the past and figure out what hasn't worked for you. And we have this invitation to actually reconnect and reinforce what matters most to us in this time of year. So I thought I would kick off this holiday survival guide for yogis with a Ganesh story. And Ganesh is the elephant deity who's known as the remover of obstacles. And this is one of my favorite stories. And Ganesh, we always invoke Ganesh at the start of something, at the threshold. So he clears the path for us. So this story is about Ganesh and his brother Skanda. And as two brothers, as they tend to do, I have two boys, so I know, they tend to bicker, and one day they are in the backyard wrestling. And their mother and father are standing nearby. Their mother and father are Shiva and Shakti. And they're watching the two boys bickering, and they're thinking to themselves, oh, we should probably distract them with something so they'll stop fighting. So they have in their backyard this beautiful mango tree. And they look up at the mango tree and they see the most perfectly ripe mango. And so they pluck this mango and they call the brothers over and they say, we have a challenge for you. Whoever can go around the world the fastest can have this perfectly ripe, beautiful, juicy mango. So the boys are really excited about the challenge, and all of the deities, they have vehicles that they ride upon. And Skanda, he rides a peacock, and Ganesh, he rides a little mouse. So Skanda, he mounts his peacock and he takes off. And Ganesh, he gets on his mouse and he just sits there. And so meanwhile, Skanda is 2/3 of the way around the world. And his mother and father are just looking at Ganesh and thinking to themselves, like, what's he doing? He's not in the spirit of competition. What's going on? And so Ganesh, he takes a meditative seat and he closes his eyes. And he goes into deep meditation. And meanwhile, again, Shiva and Shakti are just puzzled and confused and wondering what's going on. So Ganesh, he brings his hands into Anjali Mudra, and he bows his head. And he's just getting very quiet. And then he opens his eyes, he stands up, he makes one circle around Shiva and Shakti, his parents. And then in front of them he says, I have gone around the world because you are my world. So of course he gets the mango. Skanda finishes going around the world and is very surprised that he hasn't won. And Ganesh, in good brotherly form, he shares the mango with his brother. So I love this story because it reminds us that there's no one way to do things. So there's no one way to celebrate in this holiday season. We don't have to perpetuate old traditions that we feel don't work for us anymore. And the other reason I love this story is that it reminds us to, as yogis, to listen inwardly and to connect with what's close to our hearts and what is most important, and then to align our lives to revolve around that. So I invite you to take some time before this holiday season to reconnect with what matters most to you, and then to redesign and recreate a holiday tradition that is in alignment with that. So happy holidays.